Okay, well, we were just on with Brian Parker and we were discussing about the Title 15. And I wanted to see if I still have that up so that I can share that screen. Yeah, let me just see that. Let's look at that again. Go over that. That was kind of fun because we got to break it down and Brian was there to break it down, break the bread a little bit here. See if I can get this a little bit larger. So a lot of these things we see here, the Federal Trade Commission, and we see this word consumer. Hey, you can click on that. Looks like it's a hyperlink and find it. Consumer means individual. 15 USC 1681A subchapter C. Okay. Let me see how I can get back. The other thing to notice here is persons. Let's look at that. What does person say? The term person means any individual. Partnership. When I think of individual, look at that. Dual. I am divided. Dual. I think of two. There is the legal entity, your all caps name, and there is the natural person, which is your regular spelling, how you would normally spell this bicameral. It's where you got your capital letter at the beginning and then the lowercase. Whereas when you have all caps, they call that majuscule. Sounds like magic in school. That's how I remember that. Thank you. Shout out to one of my subscribers for reminding me and telling me about that. Okay, so look here. Look at that. Consumer Financial Protection Act. So you know that CFPB, that bureau, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that is one way that we can get relief because this particular thing, all right here, this 15 USC, what are we reading? Is it 45 or is it 41? Oh, let me scooch up a little bit and see what it is. Oh, 1681. It's administrative enforcement. So who are the administrators that are going to be enforcing this? Because apparently, you know, when I write a letter to some church or something, I'm thinking I'm coming with the kingdom of God and I'm going to be going to my brother who's in secret. And then they just ignore me. Then I go, hey, I need to get a witness here. So having that, what would you call it? And I guess it's considered an affidavit, but that would be consumer stuff. I guess you could actually do something called a covenant, you know. Maybe, I don't know if a notary does covenant stuff. I don't know. But, you know, from Matthew, I think it's Matthew 15:18, it talks about when someone sinned against you or trespassed against you, that you go to them in secret and in private. And if they don't listen, you take a witness or two or three witnesses, you would be included. And then you try to work it out with them. But sometimes, you know, you got these scaredy cat people. They're like, oh no, I can't go with you because I wasn't there, so I don't even know what happened to you. Well, you're really trying to get a witness to show that you are going to them in private. That's what you're trying to get the witness for. You're not trying to get the witness to say, you were there when this happened to me at such and such a time. Because sometimes, you know, there aren't any witnesses. But the whole reason why you're going to go to your brethren, like it says in Matthew, I think it's 15:18, could be 18:15. I should have that by memory down, but I don't. But you would go to them with another witness. That would be the notary right there. If you can't get another person, a live, able-bodied person to say, hey, that you've been harmed, then I have done this, literally done this, and had it sent to a church. You know, and you know what they do? they go, oh, we are sending it back to you because he's no longer with us anymore. What? The founder of your church is not there anymore? Still got the voicemail. What's up with that? Well, he still collects calls, but you don't have a forwarding address? No. So they're hiding. They're hiding the trustee or the person who breached your trust. They're covering, and the Lord deal with you. It's difficult, but hey, this administrative enforcement right here, this is getting these people, Federal Trade Commission or the Consumer Financial Protection. I'm telling you, I really got some service. I really did. Got them on some house thing and some car loan type of thing, alleged. The problem is that, yeah, they do address them. And yes, they answer right back really fast. Boom. Problem is they word it in such a way that makes it look like they did everything according to the protocol. We follow all of the rules of the Federal Trade, blah, blah, blah. But they are still hiding the trust, and that there is a trust, and that it really wasn't considered a sale, and we didn't really own anything. And you really got to look at this thing where they convert your name on your deed or on your title, or, if you bought this car or something, and they give you a piece of paper and they send you a statement and it has your name in all caps. They just done converted your name into a military type of name. Because when I was in the military, they had my last name in bold letters, all caps, right here on my lapel. That's what they're doing. So this other Zoom that I was at today earlier, wow, that guy was really breaking it down, man. He was saying that what we do have is like a nationwide land grab. You know how like they did the Louisiana Purchase and, Napoleonic thing and all that type of stuff? Like he's saying that we really are under military rule, like martial law, ever since Lincoln. Yeah, the Civil War. That it's always been, they make the edicts that the presidents of the United States Corporation, that they literally would make an edict saying war on drugs, war on terrorism, war on education, leave no child behind, and war on whatever the next COVID or whatever the next war is on, that they just keep proliferating the edicts and the declarations. And then they do acts, making up acts and stuff. Like right here, look at this. Federal Trade Commission Act. They got the Consumer Financial Protection Act of 2010. So it's kind of interesting. There's a lot more to things than what we see. We might just like an onion, like, what's that? What is that cartoon? About that green, was it troll guy? He says, I'm like an onion, you just keep peeling away the layers. The more and more that you just keep peeling away the layers, you finally realize you're like, whoa, wait a minute. If we're under military law or even a Catholic, what was that guy saying? He's saying we're under some type of a Catholic military, what is it? Catholic War Council International Law, operating under the, what? I can't even read my writing. It's that bad. Look at how bad that says. I was writing this so fast. I was listening to him. I'm like, wow, there's so many things. And he even said something about the Treasury stopped existing when they took the Treasury out from Puerto Rico. Like, where is it now? Is it in the IRS or something? IMF? Oh, wow. They're getting ready to do all these things, big things, that we, the little people, don't necessarily have the privy to. When I was in the military, you have a certain rank. And if you're like way down here on the bottom, privates, specialists, sergeants, even, whatever, you're not necessarily the ones that know all the stuff. They're going to tell the generals, and the commanders and all those admiral people way up there. Those are the ones. So we kind of get inculcated of just obey orders. You know, you just don't be thinking now. Just be quiet. Just march, do your marching orders, do everything that you're told to do, and just work for the ones that are telling you what to do. Anyways, I was reading this because we need to know, like Brian Parker was saying, we need to know who can do the enforcement. Now, this other guy, this is very interesting. He was talking about how the civilians, the people, are supposed to be above the military. And I thought, whoa, that's some revelation. And he was talking about how the church or the Catholic Church or whoever, it's like the, you know, the birds of the air up there in the ether. Because there's land where we are, the people. And then there's the ocean, the water, that's admiralty, maritime law. And then there's ecclesiastical law, which is trust law, which is up in the air. So he was kind of explaining how the Catholic Church, maybe military Jesuit, is above in the air, overseeing like the bishops and all that type of stuff. And I go, whoa, I didn't really realize that. So if people aren't even religious or anything, it's just like an automatic. Wow, I didn't even know. Interesting. But he said something about we are under Catholic War Council, international law, operating under the chunks. Gosh, my writing is that bad. But he was kind of saying that we should look into the AR, which is the Army regulations. And I think I might just want to take a look at that Army regulations. So that would be AR. Let's pick 2710 and see what that says. 2710. He's kind of rattling some of these off. This one was talking about protected persons or something. So let me see. AR. Let me see. Hopefully I'm sharing military justice. Okay, prescribes the policies and procedures pertaining to the administration of military justice and implements of the manual for courts martial. Oh, what is AR 2710? Let me click on that and see if that does anything. The manual for courts martial. Wow, MCM. Army regulation AR 2710. The UCMJ, United Corps, what? Military justice is a federal law and the basis of our military justice system. It determines what conduct is criminal. Oh, that's why you don't want to be a belligerent, right? Establishes the various types of courts and sets forth the procedures to be followed in the administration of military justice. Wow. So you guys can take a look at these things. Just Google that. How long is extra duty in the Army? Oh. Hey, what AR is military justice? Let me just look. This court composed of military judges. Well, don't you think that's what we're having when we go to the regular courts? I think so. We'll weigh the evidence and decide whether the findings and sentence are legally correct, and if so, whether the sentence is appropriate. The court may set aside the findings and sentence or may reduce the sentence, but it cannot increase the severity of the punishment. Interesting. All right, so let's look up another AR one just to see what that guy was saying. AR 27.5. 27.5. We're Googling it. Oh, Fort Bliss regulation. Except as provided by Army regulation, no individual under any circumstance may carry a privately owned firearm. Oh, in a concealed way. Oh. Okay. he was saying a lot of different things really fast. So let's see. What is this? AR 27. I think I just read that one. Yeah, I did. Okay, what other one did he? He mentioned, and I don't even know the guy's name, but I did record a little bit of what he said, and it was very interesting. 840-10. Let's see what that one says. Army Regulation 840-10. Oh, the flags, the guidons, the streamers, the tabards, and automobile and aircraft plates. Oh, that could be a good one. Wow. Oh. I think he did say something about people who have private plates and that they should have it saying, what was the word? Denominational. That's the word. Yeah, he said denominational, that we should be saying that we're a denominational rather than saying we're a state national. He said, you want to be a denominational. He says something about res and private. Oh, okay. So your plate could say res private, meaning the property is the res and it's private. And denominational, that's what he was saying. He's saying, I am a peace officer. The military needs to be under us. So he said that we're all peace officers. We're civil, which I always thought civil is under Roman law. I think it is. And that's probably why it's ecclesiastical, I guess. What did he say? General War Commission. Oh, he said something about the civil is over the military. Military Continental Army. Wow. He says that you should carry with yourself some silver around your neck, just in case, like a little silver coin or something. I'm gonna have to get myself something like that, just in case you need to pay for something. Provost Marshal General. He says to ask questions, and he also mentioned Judges 11, and he was talking about the key of the children of Ammon or Magog, and he was saying that they are unqualified heirs. And that's the issue, is that, when we are the heirs and someone comes and takes over us, that's kind of like when the people get captured in Babylon, and then they change your name, they take all your stuff and use you as a slave. Yeah, well, we've been kind of taken over, and I don't know if people are aware of that. But when you do look in the Bible, like I had been reading Jeremiah chapter 10, and it was talking about don't follow the ways of the heathen, where they look at the stars and plan their life according to the stars. But also it says something interesting around this time of year, and this is December of 2022. And it says in Jeremiah 10, do not go into the forest and chop down a fir tree, which is, what kind of tree is that? Like a pine tree. Drag it into your house, nail boards to the bottom so that it will not topple. Decorate it with silver and gold. If you do this, I, the Lord, will not listen to your prayers, because it is the image of jealousy. I mean, first of all, if a man is symbolic of like a tree planted by rivers of living water, because we're going to listen to what the Lord says, or Yahuwah, in Psalm 1, if we're supposed to be planted and then bearing fruit, that's the difference between that and a dead tree that's chopped off from the base, or the roots chopped off, made dead twice for the fire. So we don't want to worship the dead, because you are what you eat, and whatever we tend to worship, that also we become like, right? Whatever we give attention to, we tend to worship that. So when you are decorating a tree, you're like doing I doll a tree, like I'm dolling up a tree. It's kind of a pun, like I doll a tree. And you're gazing at it, singing songs, putting presents underneath of it. That is not a holy day that our Creator told us to do. It's traditions of man. It comes from Babylon. It comes from Nimrod. Look up about Nimrod and Semiramis and how Shem, the son of Noah, from the Noah's Ark, the three sons from, I'm thinking of that funny comedy, those, who was it, Curly, Shem, and I can't think of his name. Those three guys, those crack up guys. No, it's not them. It's we're talking about Noah's sons that were in the ark. Anyways, apparently how it goes is Shem, I don't know if he was the grandfather of Nimrod, chopped up the body of Nimrod into 12 pieces and threw them to the different tribes of, the Hebrew children, Israel. Yeah, that's pretty gross. But they couldn't find the penis. And Semiramis, his wife, who also could be called Inanna and Ishtar, like the Statue of Liberty, Anyways, she erected an obelisk, like the Washington Monument obelisk, or like at the Vatican, the obelisk, that thing that's erect, the pole standing up like the Asherah pole. Anyways, she was pregnant somehow after he died. She said that she got impregnated by the rays of the sun because Nimrod became the sun god. And I don't know what was the phallic thing all about, but that's like the image of jealousy, My thing is bigger than your thing. How long is your thing? And is it erect? Blah, blah, blah. The problem is that when it's chopped off and it's dead, that's considered like one of those toy things, shame things, dildo. That is not going to be fertilizing and making children because it's dead. So you're worshiping the dead. You're worshiping a dead penis. That's what that tree actually symbolizes. And you're going to say, oh no, but that's not what it means to me. You're pretty gross talking about all that kind of disgusting, filthy stuff. Well, if you understand anything about fertility rituals, they're really gross. It's really bad. I don't want to take you down that rabbit hole, but these, the maypole and all that type of stuff. And then there's the tree, and then there's Easter with the Easter egg hunts, with the eggs, you're looking for the big goose egg, whatever. There's weird things that they do sexually. It's gross. But this is really yucky because when that child is born, then they, sacrifice that child. And then they have like gross other gods like Molech, the one that has the iron hands. And then they put the baby. It's really gross. It's got to do with fertility, cult, satanic worship. It's disgusting. It's really gross. So we as believers or people who want to follow the Creator in his way, we don't want to do like what the heathens do. Let me stop sharing for a second. We don't want to do like the heathens do. They are doing the fertility rituals to conjure up the demonic. That's why you got statistically showing just December 25th is like a really high suicide rate. And a lot of problems can happen, a lot of alcoholism. And it's because it was Saturnalia. And it was outlawed many times. And the Roman Church came and decided to slap a new name on it, call it Christ Mass. And let's just say that it's the Lord's birthday, but it wasn't. Because if you look in the Bible, he was not born in the winter. It's cold. The sheep were not out there when it was cold. It was most likely around Sukkot in the fall. And there is a Hebrew feast that is the feast of Yahuwah, the Creator. And he tells us to observe his feasts, not to do these traditions of the Roman Church or traditions of man. Because who are we serving? You know, the love of money is the root of all evil. So during this particular season, I don't even call it holiday because there's no holiday here. No, the world, the god of this world, Satan, is trying to make a bigger party and a bigger erection for every home. I want every home to worship him, by everyone putting an angel or a star at the top of that tree. That's they are worshiping Satan or Lucifer. And that's how he gets his jollies out. He's laughing all the way. Laughing all the way. Getting God's people or Yahuwah's people to bow down and worship, do idolatry. That's called sin. And that separates us from knowing the truth and the true creator. So we did kind of go over in the first one some things about getting a little bit of what's the word, administrative enforcement. And now we're kind of ending the Sabbath, or at least tonight's show, with getting understanding that there might be other layers or other entities trying to make claims on us. But we know that we were created by the Creator so that we could be creative, just like him, and walk in his ways. So if we really don't want to be under bondage, then we're going to walk in his ways and get his understanding. So we are created, all of us are created in his image, which is spirit. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So that means that we all can hear from him. If we're not sinning, doing like the heathen, he will answer our prayers. So that's what we want. We want our prayers to be answered. And sometimes when we are in the world or we have relatives or friends that are in the world, it is really easy for us to get the blanket put over our head and they go, come on, come to our party. Come to our party. And, boom, 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 boom. We get bombarded in our brain. And of course we have these things called feelings, and we have desires to have relationship with other people too, or to be liked. The problem is that when we go into the world, we kind of get a little dirty, our brains, we get a little confused. So we got to get away. Do like Yahusha, that was Jesus. Yahusha would often go alone to the garden to pray, or on a boat by himself, away from all the people. And sometimes when you're feeling bombarded, the best thing to do, get alone, just you and your maker, and talk to your maker. Well, this is a great time for each one of us to rest. This is called the Sabbath. He says that he promises that he will sup with us and meet with us if we pay attention and meet with him. So I'm going to end this so that we can all have an opportunity to get close to our Creator. And I wish you a good Shabbat Shalom. That means peace on the Sabbath. I hope that you might have learned something today from my little talk. And as we continue to learn more, just write something down in the comment section. Feel free to converse so that we can all teach one another. I hope that you like this, and if you didn't like it, please like it anyways. We're all growing and we're all learning, and I hope that that you'll share this, subscribe, and like. Thank you. Have a great evening, and see you tomorrow.